I'm Hannah, one of the librarians at the Portland Public Library Children's Library, and I am going to do a read aloud for you today, and I'm going to read from Mia Mayhem Gets X-Ray Specs, which is a really great new book that we have. And it is by Kara West, and it's illustrated by Leeza Hernandez, and I'll definitely show you some of the cool illustrations as we go. Are you ready? Mia Mayhem Gets X-Ray Specs. Chapter 1, Glasses? Hey there, can you read what's written on that board? I have no idea why Miss Jemison, my teacher, is writing so small. We're learning about the parts of a flower, and I'd tell you what each part was called if I could actually see it. I squinted my eyes as hard as I could, but the flower was still blurry, so I inched up some more until, oof, I slipped out of my chair and fell right on my butt. Whoa. My cheeks grew red as my best friend, Eddie Stein, helped me up. Embarrassing things like this happen to me all the time. I used to think it was because I was a super klutz, but on one fateful day, I got a special letter telling me that I was actually just super. Like for real. My name's Mia Macaroni, and I am a superhero. And my life hasn't been the same since. For one thing, I now go to 2 schools. In the mornings, I go to normal elementary school, where I study regular subjects like math and science. Then in the afternoons, I head over to a top secret superhero training academy called the Program for In-Training Superheroes, aka the Pits. And at the Pits, I go by Mia Mayhem. At that school, I learn things like how to save somebody from being stuck in a volcano. Not that there are any volcanoes in this town, but you get me. Nobody at my regular school knows my secret identity, except for Eddie, who at the moment was staring at me with a worried look on his face. "Are you okay, Mia?" he whispered. I rubbed my eyes and shook my head. "Is everything all right?" Miss Jemison asked, looking over at us. "I can't read the board," I said. "Can you please write bigger?" "That's odd," my teacher said. "Why don't you come up to the front?" So I gave it a shot, but it was no use. Everything was still really hazy, and my head was starting to hurt. Ouch. I think Miss Jemison could tell I wasn't feeling well because she sent me to Mrs. Feelbetter, our school nurse. At the nurse's office, I first got my temperature taken. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, so Mrs. Feelbetter told me to cover my left eye and read from a letter chart. Then I did the same for my right eye. I waited quietly as she jotted down some notes. "Oh, Mia, I think you may need glasses." I couldn't believe it. Having to wear glasses was going to change everything, and I was not happy about it. But when I told Eddie the bad news after school, he didn't have the same reaction as me. "Getting glasses isn't really bad news. Think of it as getting a pair of cool new shades," he cried. To be honest, I've always wanted a pair. He put his hand on my shoulder and gave me a big smile. Eddie always knew how to make me feel better. And the more I thought about it, a pair of sleek lightning bolt glasses suddenly didn't sound so bad. Chapter 2, Dr. I Spy. I sped over to the building next door and quick changed into my super suit. On the outside, the Pits looked like an old abandoned warehouse, but on the inside, it was the coolest place ever. I squeezed into an elevator and went up to the 2nd floor, where all the junior level classes were held. Inside the gym, I looked around for my friends on the bleachers. My vision was still really blurry. But even in the haze, there was no way I could miss the two kids who were excitedly waving their arms. "Hey, Mia, over here!" cried Penn Powers and Allie Oomph. When I first met Penn, I thought he was a show-off. But now, he's a really good friend. And so is Allie. The three of us met in Dr. Dash's fast class and became friends in a flash. "Hey guys, if you hadn't waved, I would have totally missed you. My vision is really weird today," I said. "No way, us too. We only knew it was you because of the colors of your super suit," they both cried. I wanted to ask more questions, but the entire gym suddenly got quiet. Up at the front, a man had walked in. He was wearing a royal blue supersuit that had large dragonfly wings on each shoulder. "So nice to see you all," he said. "My name is Dr. I Spy. Before we begin our first lesson, tell me, has anyone been having trouble seeing in class?" Every single hand shot into the air. Well, I have good news, young heroes. You're here today to learn how to control your super sight." I glanced over at my friends, but they just shrugged. "Super sight usually kicks in at age 8. Things always start off really blurry, but don't worry. You'll soon be able to do awesome things, like X-ray through walls and see in absolute darkness." Allie and I gave each other a big high five. "Now, before we use any powers, I'll need each of you to take the Pitt's eye exam to get fitted for your own pair of super specs." Whoa, did you hear that? Sounds like I do need glasses after all, just not the ordinary kind. Dr. I Spy pushed a button on his watch and a fancy steel machine lifted up from the floor. "Okay, everyone, who'd like to give this a go?" he asked. There was a long pause. Even if it was for X-ray vision, this exam wasn't one I was going to take first. Woof, woof! I whipped around to see where that sound had come from. I'll go," said a voice from all the way in the back. All eyes looked up as a boy in a blazing orange suit came to the front, led by an adorable furry sidekick. And that's where we're going to stop today at the end of Chapter 2. But tune in tomorrow, we'll start at Chapter 3, and I'm excited to find out who this boy in the orange suit is and what's going to happen with Dr. I Spy. So I'll see you tomorrow right back here. My name is Hannah, and I'm a children's librarian here at Portland Public Library, and I'll see you soon.